Hi guys, first let's talk about Nullish Coalescing operator. To simply define it, it will return right hand side value if and only if left hand side value is null or undefined. Okay, that's it guys. For example, let me take a variable. I'm gonna name it as name, and that is equal to, let's say I'll take null, and then let's pass Nullish Coalescing operator, which is 2 question marks, and then let's pass here maybe Bob. Okay, simple. Now if I print this name, observe what happens guys. You see, we'll get output as Bob. Why? Because left hand side value is null. Likewise, if I pass here undefined, we'll still get output as Bob because left hand side is undefined. And now what I'll do is that I'll replace this undefined with something else, let's say 0. Now in this case, we will print left side value guys, because it is not null or undefined. Likewise, I can pass here maybe empty string, we'll get empty string. And likewise, maybe I can pass here maybe 9, we'll get output as 9. Okay, so this is how Nullish Coalescing operator will work guys. Okay, now let's take one more example. Here we are getting some response from API. Now what I'll do is that let me take a new variable. I'm gonna name it as maybe fname. Okay, and that is equal to, let's write API response dot name, and let's pass Nullish Coalescing operator, and then let's type here unnamed, something called unnamed. Okay, now let me print this fname. I'll write here f and then name. Now observe what happens. You see, we got output as empty string. The purpose of this scenario is that guys, I want to see or I want to return whatever that is present inside the name property, whether it is empty string or whether it is some value. Okay, for example, instead of using this Nullish Coalescing operator, if I replace this with logical OR operator, see what happens. You see guys, instead of getting empty string, we got unnamed. But I don't want that. I want exactly whatever the value that is present inside that name property. Okay, so in this case, in these scenarios, we can make use of this Nullish Coalescing operator. So I'll just replace this with Nullish Coalescing operator and we'll get output as empty string. Okay, but as we discussed, if I pass here undefined, let's say I'll pass here undefined, in this case it will print unnamed guys. In this case it will print whatever value that we provided as a alternative. Okay, so this is all about Nullish Coalescing operator guys. Now let's talk about optional chaining operator. It is simple guys. Optional chaining operator will let you safely check if a property or method exists before trying to access it or not without causing any errors. Okay, simple. Now here you can see we have an example where we have user object. Now what I'll do is that let's try to access something that doesn't exist in this object. So I'll just write here console.log and let's write here user dot and then data dot code. Okay, simple. Now you can see guys, we got an error that is cannot read properties of undefined reading code. Okay, but I don't want to get this error. Even though there is no property or method called data, I don't want to get this error. So in these scenarios, to handle this error, we can make use of optional chaining operator, which will basically first check if data method is present or not. So I can just put one question mark here. You see, now we got output as undefined. So the code, so basically the code didn't crash. Instead of error, we just got something that is undefined. Okay, so this is how we can make use of optional chaining operator to avoid unnecessary errors. Okay, this will also work with arrays guys. For example, I can just take one more variable here. Let's say I'll type array and that is equal to undefined. There is nothing here. Now what I'll do is that I'll just write here console.log and I'll write array of, let's pass question mark and then let's put dot. We are accessing 0th element of an array, which is basically nothing. You see, we got output as undefined. Okay, if you don't use this optional chaining operator, let's see what happens. You see, we'll get error that is cannot read properties of undefined reading 0. Okay, this is about optional chaining operator guys. Now let's take one more example where we combine both Nullish Coalescing operator and optional chaining operator guys. Okay, so for that, let me take a new variable. I'm going to name it as conzip and that is equal to, let's take user object user and then dot address. Okay, and then let's take optional chaining operator. So I'll just pass here optional chaining operator and here let's type zip guys. Okay, we all know that it doesn't exist in the address object. And now what I'll do is that let's pass optional chaining operator here. So I'll just pass optional chaining operator and here let's write no zip provided. Okay, simple. Now let's write here console.log and let me type here zip. Okay, now since we got this error, we are not getting output, so let me comment this one. Now you see guys, we got output as no zip provided. So this is how we can make use of Nullish Coalescing operator and optional chaining operator. Okay, let me know in the comments guys if you know more examples of how we can use these both operators. And if you found this video useful, please give it a like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.